Okay, I found this article very interesting. Let's reading. Calcium, silicon, and structural integrity. When it comes to growing strong plants that resist infestations, don't launch, and capable of bearing prolific, heavy fruits and flowers, structural supports is everything. Two nutrients, calcium and silicon, play distinct but complementary roles in building and reinforcing plant structure. Silicon, um, where calcium? Calcium forms the plant's integral framework. Silicon adds an external layer of reinforcement. Adds an external layer of reinforcement. Silicon adds external layer. Structure proteins, others, microfibers, collagen, pectin, hemicellulose, cellulose. Let's continue. Because both contribute to sturdiness, their functions sometimes overlap. These pods qualify their roles and explains how applying calcium and silicon together can help growers cultivate healthier plants and produce higher harvests. Calcium, building strength inside. Calcium is an essential secondary macronutrient. Macronutrient. Plants cannot complete their life cycles without it. Depending on the strain and growing conditions, it composes 0.1% to 0.5 of dry plant weight. It composes of dry plant weight. Calcium plays two major roles, providing structural stability and acting as a signaling molecule. Signal? Okay. Calcium provides structural stability by binding its ion calcium plus two ions two electrons minus with the polysaccharide pectin polysaccharide pectin in the middle lamella, forming a glue that holds cells together. It also stabilizes cells membranes by interacting with phospholipids. Okay, calcium stabilizes cells membranes. Cells membranes, what this means? I show you. See, these someone microorganisms like this. I recommend you play the game Thrive. This game about how microorganisms evolution, what is needed, like minerals, phosphates, acids, how I remember what microorganisms eat to generate his structures, change his evolution components. Okay, cell has membrane or plasma cell. Calcium in plants stabilizes plants membrane membrane can in organisms created two in calcium molecules or other molecules. I don't know what this used. We can see images or asking what phospholipid molecules. Okay. Okay, continue. Calcium provides structural stability by binding its ions calcium 2 plus with a polyesterate pectin. This is just molecule. You can imagine circle like this circle that connected with other circles in the middle lamella, forming a glue that holds cell together. It also stabilizes cell membranes by interacting with phospholipids, other molecule or secondary circle. As a secondary messenger, calcium activates enzymes in several processes, including root growth and responses to both abiotic and biotic stress. Okay. Molecules send signals. It's, I think, not fact. In performing these two functions, calcium develops the cell wall by supporting cell division and formation, strengthens the cell walls from within by contributing calcium pictate, which impacts structural support and service as a primary power against pathogens. Pathogens means molecules that can break down leaves of the plant, and calcium protect signals nutrient availability of potassium, nitrogen, iron, boron, and possibility magnesium. Possible magnesium responds to pathogen attacks by signaling for defenses such as stomatal closure and callose deposition and localized layer of the glucose polymer. I not understand. Controls ionic concentrations within cells, helping to maintain homeostasis. Figure 1. Calcium binds with pectin to form calcium pictate, which makes up the middle lamella, like surface volume, which holds plant cells together. The primary cell wall, tubes, cellulose microfibril, pectin, like lines in electronics, hemicellulose, soluble protein, plasma membrane. Okay, let's continue. We not understand all in this article because this require to know what means these words and experience. Okay, silicon, creating an external armor. Unlike calcium, silicon is not an essential nutrient. Plants can complete their life cycles without it, without silicon. What plants? All plants. However, it is considered a beneficial nutrient because it improves resilience, strength, and stress tolerance. Plants absorb silicon as monolithic acid. Absorb process means how I think. Plants' roots take molecule and put in self. Plants absorb silicon as monosilicic acid, like water, like liquid molecules. Moving the transportation stream, it polymerizes and precipitates as amorphous silica. Inside and beneath cell walls, forming polytolysis. Particles that are resistant to decomposition. Figure 2 shows how silicon embeds in different cell walls components. Polymerization means, I show. Oh, internet. Wait a minute. Polymerization, how I think, means that silicon molecule go into the roots and then this part and connect. Polymer or means much forms or so much parts. Mono means one part, some one part. Like this image, this part is a monomer, the next part is a monomer too. First monomer, second monomer, 13 monomer, 14 monomer, and these parts in a general and a sum call it polymer. Polymer contain monomers. How I know? You can read about this. Some plastics containing monomers that connected in a chain, and this call it polymer. Poly means this, the chain. CH2, CH, CH2, CH, CH2, CH, and etc. And this polystyrene, poly means this chain, CH2CH. This part is a monomer, and we plus this part, and this makes a chain. A plus A plus A equals A, or polymer. This monomer. In simple words, how I understand. I not pretend to professional chemistry doctor, but I think this like, see, silicon connects in this part. I don't know what this tubes means. Where I stop? Plants absorb silicon as monosilicic acid, moving as a transportation system. It polymerizes and precipitates as amorphous silica inside and beneath cell walls, forming phytolith particles that are resistant to decomposition. Figure 2 shows how silicon emboss and the different cellulose components. Silicon, hemicellulose, structural protein, cellulose microfibers, pectin. I think this tube makes in the pose. Let's check internet. See that structure? I think a plant structures like these nanotubes. This is carbon nanotube. In real, this can be different, but I think this part, like these tubes, makes from molecules. Something part C. The molecules or atoms connected into structure, and we see some things like this, like roots, plants, like leaves, like minerals. No, not minerals. This electroscope. Okay, continue read article. Interaction of silicon with different cell wall components in plants. Calcium. Calcium provides structural stability. This means can be, I don't know. Interaction of silicon with different cell walls component in plant. Okay, we see this. Silicon deposits help plants physically stabilize by increasing cell walls thickness. That are herbivorous, as silica's hardness exceeds that of enamel. Prime defenses, serving as a tonic that responds better to external factors. Guard against stress, both biotic and abiotic, including pathogens, salts, and heavy metals. Limit water loss during the road by forming a double silica cultic layer under the leaf epidermis to reduce transpiration. Stimulate antioxidant enzymes that protect cells from toxicity and oxidative stress. Comparison of roles in maintaining structural integrity. Calcium and silicon both strengthen plants, but in different ways. Calcium works from within, binding cells together, while silicon reinforces externally by embedding into cell walls. The drop-down menu below highlights how their roles diverge. Calcium nutrient type, essential, mobility in mobile, role in structural integrity, builds and stabilizes cell walls and membranes by forming calcium pectate linkages. Effect on growing medium, satisfies the high calcium epictet of Coca-Cola, what means, which has high cation exchange capacity. Calcium can be absorbed by this substrate and must be supplemented. Sources: calcium acetate, calcium nitrate, gypsum. These elements can be found in rocks in different places in our planet. Understanding calcium magnesium supplementation in cocomedium. Magnesium, central element of chlorophyll. We read about elements, macro and microelements in our later videos. Silicon. Coca-Cola, I not understand. This? Okay, like soil. Silicon, nutrient type, beneficial, mobility mobile, raw and structural integrity, reinforces cell walls with protective silica layers to add mechanical strength. Okay, we understand it. Effect on growing media has no direct impact on the growing medium. Sources: potassium silicate. We can Google. I need images. What is like? Yes, crystals. How these crystals can be getted? Where can find? Where can be found? Found potassium silicon solubility in water. The name from an organic compounds. Potassium can be found in various forms, including soluble powder or liquid. It is commonly available at garden supply stores. Blah blah blah. How get? Making your own silica supplement. Yourself supplements. Build soil. What this is? pH level. This is self-made nutrient solution. Liquid. The solid form. Liquid form. pH level. Silicon solution, national supplement of plants. No, I want to understand how this powder get it. What from? If I want this produced, but how I can do it? Calcium oxide. I think he's found rocks and drilling this into small parts, very small parts, and this makes powder. This is required special machines that break down rocks into small parts. In the ocean, we can find big storage of calciums. Silica layer outer wall. What is this? Okay, make powders and found how this produced. If I found. Potassium silicate is made by treating silicon with potassium hydroxide in a chemical reaction. Silica. Let's check what is silica. Production method. Remember this. This can be used in search engine production method. So sodium silicate and potassium silicate. The process. The dry method begins building a mixture of sodium carbonate and sand in special furnaces. As a result of the separation, a green material is obtained, which is then crushed in cooling devices and dissolved in water. After that, filter the resulting solution to obtain pure sodium silicate. After the production of sodium silicate, due its enhanced properties and resistance, and blah blah blah. Silica. Britannica. Silica. What is silica? Silica rock. Silica. Yes. Okay, he's found this mineral crushed into parts, into powder, into silica compound of the two most abundant elements in Earth's crust, silicon and oxygen, CO2. The mass of Earth's crust and 59% silica, the main consistent of more than 95% of the known rocks. Silica has three main crystalline varieties. Quartz, by far the most abundant. I found quartz I have in home. Trimite and cristobalite. Other varieties include coesile, critile. Okay, to make nutrient solutions I need found quartz and other compounds that I know what if I need to crush into small parts, and this is production method. This can be required machines or not. If I made small volumes of nutrient solution, I think I not need it or need. I don't know. But if made as a production, I think can be required. Okay, continue reading. Potassium silicate is a compound of quartz rock that break it down into small parts and combine it with older rock, powder 1 plus powder 2, reaction and other matters. In short, calcium and silicon are both critical in structural integrity, but they play distinct yet complementary roles. Why it matters to growers? Calcium is an immobile nutrient. It cannot move from one part of the plant to another, so it must be delivered to you in plant tissues, the root, the hilum, making uptake heavily depend on transpiration. Low transpiration caused by high humidity. That one is a factor that causes change behavior of plant. Low transpiration caused by high humidity or low airflow can limit calcium uptake and cause localized deficiencies. Humidity and airflow can limit calcium uptake. Okay. As an essential nutrient, the importance of calcium is understood. Insufficient calcium causes stunted growth and deformed leaves. And deformed leaves. Calcium. If we has high humidity or low airflow, this can be deform our leaves. Not all plants, but I can remember this. Studies show that high calcium levels reduce bacterial with in tomatoes, while soybeans experience less stem rot. Supplying adequate adequate calcium and maintaining the correct vapor pressure defect for steady transpiration are key to ensuring plants can continue to build strength and defend against pathogens. And defend. While plants can get by without silicon, research shows that supplying it plays off. In one study, okay, cannabis grow. I not use this. I want tomatoes, vegetables, fruits, maybe cherries. Grown perlite coated with silicone had 28% greater total pod dry weight and 60% higher CBD content compared to cannabis grow in uncoated perlite. And I not recommend to use it. In my country, these block it. It's not. I'm not interested. In summary, supplying both calcium and silicon helps plants stay stronger, healthier, and more productive from seeding to harvest. Easy supplying silicon and calcium. To put science into practice for studier, healthier plants and healthier yields, growers can pair reliable high-quality calcium and silicon supplements. Emerald Harvest cow milk liquid and H dry products ensure consistent calcium delivery, building the internal strength needed for big bags. Meanwhile, or liquid potassium silicate formulation provides 11.22% silicate to give plants to external reinforcement required to prolific flowering. Fucking it. Okay. Emerald Harvest team. Okay. We complete this article, and I continue reading second article about micronutrients and macronutrients.